In the spring of '89, at the Tokyo Motor Show, Yamaha introduced the Morpho model, a multifunctional motorcycle of the future that combines the dynamics and thrill of a sport bike with the comfort and practicality of a road bike.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
Designers, whose flights of fancy inevitably run into engineering calculations and financial constraints, know how sometimes one wants to abstract from all that and create a project infinitely far from the demands and technical possibilities of the time. In such projects, ideas are usually tested, the implementation of which is a matter for the future, sometimes not so distant. We are, of course, talking about concepts. Experimental models whose ideas eventually appear in production samples. Such experimental models attract visitors to motorcycle exhibitions like a magnet, occupy honorable places on the pages of popular technical publications, and serve as excellent advertising for the creative capabilities of the company. They also have unofficial names, ice-stoppers. This nickname was given to such models by journalists. The title of ice-stopper of 1989 was awarded to the Morpho concept. This is despite the legendary NR, with its oval piston presented that year, was standing somewhere nearby. And looking at these motorcycles in comparison, you can understand why. Morpho looks good even today. It could pass for a model in the MT lineup, but the NR from 1989 looks like a 1989 motorcycle. And looking at the Morpho today, many would say that it is simply a predecessor or prototype of the much troubled GTS 1000. But tell that to people in '89, when their eyes were stopped by a motorcycle that looked like a hero from a Transformers comic. But what was the Morpho really? By the late '80s, the image of the sport motorcycle had completely shifted from a sporty street bike, where the only hint of sport was the engine, to a radically sporty one with aerodynamic fairings, strong brakes, a monolithic frame, and high-performance suspensions. The turning point begins with machines like the Kawasaki GZ900R, Suzuki GSX R750, and Honda VFR 750. At that time, purely sports machines, but with a license plate. Sport bikes became inaccessible to the average person due to rising prices and a lack of consumer interest, driven by the low practicality of such motorcycles, which ultimately plunged Japanese and American manufacturers into confusion. Sensing changes in the motorcycle market, manufacturers sought alternatives to purely sport motorcycles, which marked the beginning of a new conceptual trend, and Morpho was created as the trendsetter of this new fashion. Its main idea was to combine the qualities of a sport bike and a road bike in one machine. GK Design, who developed this motorcycle, wanted to look into the future. A sport bike that can transform into a practical motorcycle with the push of a button. The front part of the large aluminum frame was equipped with a hinge, allowing the handlebar position to be adjusted in height. The driver's seat also had height adjustment, as did the footpegs with controls. Technically, the Morpho was an interesting motorcycle with unique solutions such as the muffler. Take a closer look, it is integrated directly into the motorcycle's frame. The wheels can be quickly replaced both front and rear, with brake discs and a chain drive on the left side. Unfortunately, the rear swing arm is not a single-sided one, as the patent for this technology was held by Honda. And if you want to thoroughly study the history of the swing arm on your VFR, I highly recommend watching this video of ours, where I have already explained how the French sold unique patents to Honda. However, the front suspension of the Morpho is very similar to that in the Honda Elf prototypes. A unique front suspension, which is a cantilever wheel mounting system with special rods and joints responsible for steering and damping. This design is free from the biggest drawback of the telescopic fork: high internal friction, slowing down the suspension's response to road conditions. it shifted to the GTS 1000. Morpho and the GTS shared the same engine. They inherited the power unit from the FCR 1000. Thanks to 110 horsepower and what Yamaha claimed to be progressive work in the wind tunnel, the Morpho was supposed to reach 306 kilometers per hour. Even with the specified weight of 315 kilograms, 2 years later, in 1991, the Japanese introduced the continuation of the motorcycle, Morpho 2. The first thing that stands out is the new design of the motorcycle. While the first Morpho still looks quite modern today, the Morpho 2 even now feels like a concept. Even when stationary, all lines of the motorcycle breathe, flow, and merge into one another. Watching it is like observing a big wild cat making its way through the jungle. It's simply a sensual delight. As with the Morpho 1, the seat, footrests, pedals, and handlebars can be adjusted to fit the rider's height. Only now, by computer and electric drives, not mechanically. The windshields on the knee fairings change their position, also following computer commands. Instead of traditional instruments, there is a liquid crystal display for the rider to use the onboard computer in a dialogue mode. The display shows not only information about the motorcycle speed, engine RPM, and fuel reserve, but also, for example, data about the upcoming maintenance schedule. Before starting the engine, the display shows the self-diagnosis system data, checking the condition of all major components. Only after ensuring that everything is in order does the system allow the engine to start. If all of this could work in 1991, then it's just wow. In addition to the already listed systems, the new Morpho has an electronic anti-lock braking system and computer-controlled suspension parameters. This system has just been tested on the racing Yamaha of world champion Wayne Rainey. A magnetic key card was also included. Another feature that the world has already seen in cars, but perhaps for the first time encountered on a motorcycle. Steering control is not only for the front wheel, but also for the rear wheel. Experts believe that this design indeed allows for more efficient cornering. However, the maneuverability of the vehicle decreases in this case. The rear swing arm is a rather bulky structure, possessing high rigidity and this time also concealing the muffler inside. But this motorcycle does not have a frame in the usual sense. Its role is taken on the engine, to which all other components of the motorcycle are attached through small subframes. And this time, the engine is not the most powerful. The 4-cylinder inline unit with dual overhead camshafts and liquid cooling is similar to those found on production Yamahas. Its displacement is 400 cubic centimeters. Due to tax restrictions, this engine size was popular in Japan. Don't think that this motorcycle is a single-seater. A small rear fairing slides back, revealing the passenger seat. Naturally, the fairing's movement is powered by an electric motor. Comfort is enhanced by soft inserts that the rider's knees press against. By the way, the fuel tank and fairings are designed to ensure that neither the rider nor the passenger encounters any sharp protrusions in the event of a fall. The concept of merging the motorcycle with the rider implies that this motorcycle should be comfortable not only for the rider, but also for those around them. Therefore, a specially designed neutralizer is built into the exhaust system, whatever that means. It is clear that Morpho, like most concepts, never made it to mass production. And it's a pity, and perhaps even in vain, because extensive customization options are on the wish list of many manufacturers these days. For example, ErgoFit from Kawasaki. Plus, the Morpho concept did not lack ambition. After all, the fact that it attracted more attention back then than Honda's racing model with oval pistons speaks to its unrealized potential.